Failing the USMLE is one of the most stressful experiences a medical student might ever have to face, especially when you fail either step 1 or even step 2 CK. And it's even worse when students have failed these exams once or twice. And in today's video, I would like to remind you that whatever the case is, if you have failed the USMLE before, of course, it's a very painful experience, but you are not alone. Several students have failed the exams. Several students have faced setbacks like this one, and a lot of students have come back to pass the exam and move on and even get matched into their choice of residencies. Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Uche Kennedy, and in today's video, of course, we are going to be looking at the prompt. You failed, now what? If you're watching this video, maybe you failed the USMLE already, or you know someone that has failed the USMLE. What we are going to try to do here is to talk about the steps you might want to take after failing the USMLE to ensure that you don't fail the exam again. You give yourself a good shot at doing the exam and doing it right, and even better than you would have expected. The first thing you want to do if you have failed the USMLE before is to allow yourself process the emotion. Feel the frustrations. It's okay to feel the disappointment. It's okay to grieve these bad results that you were hopefully, I guess, not expecting. But what you don't want is to dwell on the negative thoughts. You want to feel frustrated, you want to feel sad, you want to feel angry. I would be mad if I wrote an exam and it came back that I failed the exam. But you don't want to remain in that place. You don't want to define your entire existence by a failure on the USMLE. A lot of persons have failed this exam before you, and a lot of those people have been incredible students. Failing the USMLE does not make you a terrible person, a terrible student, but it means that a lot of mistakes were made along the way. And these are mistakes that once you fix them, and they can be fixed, you will be able to go on to perform better on the exam. If you need to speak to someone, speak to your family, speak to your friends, speak to your mentor. Whatever you do, do not implode on yourself. Do not allow the feelings and the emotions surrounding failing the USMLE wear you out or completely ruin your life, as it were. The second thing you want to do is to analyze what went wrong. Usually, there are three categories I like to think about that cause people to fail. You failed either because you had inadequate preparation. Your preparation was just not sufficient. You did not use the appropriate resources. You did not spend enough time on the resources or something of that nature. The second reason is you had unstable standing. What does this mean? If you may have noticed that when you did UWorld, on some days you score 70%, on some other days you score 45, some days you score 65, some other days you score 39 or 50, meaning that your performance is up and down. On a bad day, you don't score well. On a good day, you can score incredibly well. When you have those up and down performances, what the meaning is that on the exam day, if your exam day happens to fall on one of those bad days, it is easy for the exam to slip out of your hands. So it's either your preparation was inadequate or you had unstable standing going into the exam, just too many ups and downs. It may also be because you were not mentally stable. Okay, I don't mean that you are crazy. It could be that on the day of the exam, you became overly anxious. I have had a student that wrote self-assessments and would score in the 240s in several self-assessments, got to the exam hall, she was shaking, scared, had to call me, Kennedy, and she ended up scoring a 225 on the USMLE. So anxiety is a serious problem. Imagine if that student was scoring a 225 on her self-assessment. Then if she went into the exam and had that level of anxiety, losing down 20 points, she can easily score a 205 or even fail the exam. And this is a serious issue that we don't often talk about that actually affects medical students. So you want to think about it for yourself. What went wrong? Was your preparation adequate? Were your performances always dwindling? Were they going up and down? On the day of the exam, were you anxious? Do you think that you were not in the right frame of mind? Were you too exhausted? Were you hungry during your exam? There are several reasons or several things that could go wrong on the day of the exam. The other thing is, what's the problem? You also have to ask yourself, was there a particular weak area? People don't take it seriously when we talk about weak areas. Some people say, oh, I only have problem with this subject, so I can go into the exam, I should be fine. The problem is if your weak area happens to be the first part of the test. So if question 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 happens to be heavy on your weak areas, it can throw you off your game, because you start out with the first question, it is difficult. The second question is difficult. The third question is difficult, because these questions happen to highlight your weaknesses. You become completely discombobulated. You don't even know what to do with yourself. You think, oh my God, this exam is a disaster. And many students collapse in such situations. So was there a particular weak area you did not work on properly, perhaps, that might have caused you to fail the exam? The second thing is it a particular subject, right? Was it one particular subject that happened that you thought at least showed up a lot on your exam? Is that what the problem was? Did you have problems with time management during the exam? Were you struggling to finish your blocks? Were you always behind? Did you not even finish some of the blocks? Maybe that contributed also to you failing the exam. And finally, you have to be honest with yourself. Did you underestimate the exam? There are a lot of students, and I had one earlier this year that came to me and said, oh, I read and I just prepared and I went to take the exam. They did not do any self-assessments. They just studied. They just read, did questions on UWorld, and they went into the exam. This is underestimating the exam. There are people that, a lot of persons that go to the USMLE believing that the USMLE is simple. Oh, what is the USMLE? I can pass it after I've been passing in medical school. Is that the case for you? If that's the case, again, you have to be honest with yourself. You need to know exactly what the problem is so that you know how to solve it, and then you'll be able to move on to get the result you want in the next time you get to sit for the exam. The third thing you want to do is to create a new study plan. You need a targeted study plan that is based on your weak areas. Now, there is something students do. You fail the exam, okay, so you decide to sit down, you start reading everything from the beginning all over again, right? There's a temptation to, okay, I'm going to go back, I'm going to do 6 weeks, 6 months, whatever, and you start reading every single thing. No, you want to sit down with your results, analyze this result, and see what your weak subject areas are. I think the USMLE does not really give full breakdown of performances, but then a simple self-assessment like an MBME will easily tell you where your problem is. You want to focus on the places you have trouble. This will save you a lot of time preparing for the exam the next time around, right? If you start from the beginning, you start studying every single thing, then you might spend another 6 months. Some of you might even spend a whole year preparing to take the exam again. Why do you want to do that, right? It's much better that we know that, okay, you have problem in these 5 areas. Let's try to work on these 5 things first. Get them done, do a self-assessment, see where you stand, identify other weak areas, work on them. If you work on specific weak areas, you will make improvement faster. If I already understand cardio and I'm always scoring well on cardio, and I go back and spend my time reading cardio from beginning to the end, I would not be doing myself any good. I would just be wasting time. You want to consider changing your study materials. What did you use to prepare the first time? When students come to me and they say, Kennedy, I've been preparing for the USMLE, I've been preparing for almost 2 years now. I ask them, what resources have you been using to prepare? It's not so much that the resources are bad. It's that the resource might not be good for you. And many times you cannot know it for yourself. A lot of students think that they understand, oh, when I watch these videos, they are good for me. But when you start talking to them, you realize that they are not actually getting what they think they are getting from the resources they are using. Once again, the resource is not the problem. The problem is that this resource is just not good for you in particular. So you may want to consider changing your study resources, focusing on certain high yield resources, and you want to know there are a lot of resources out there, of course. Which resource will be best for you? All the resources have exactly the same information, but all the teaching styles, the methods of approach, the presentation styles of all these resources are different, and they will work differently for different students. A good example is going to be Sketchy. Sketchy is cartoonish, beautiful representation, but I cannot tolerate Sketchy, right? If I use Sketchy, and I did try it once when I was in med school, basic medicine, and it was the most frustrating things for me, right? But Sketchy is a very good resource that other students have used, and they basically remember the entire thing. They remember the diagram, they remember the images, and they're happy. So for them, it works. For me, even if everybody tells me it's great, it's great, it's great, I cannot use it because I don't remember jack out of it. Patoma is a great resource. A lot of students use Patoma. They get very good results. I have watched Patoma and I could not sit through Patoma for 1 hour. You see what I'm talking about? So even if the resource is a perfect resource, great resource, it is not good for you, perhaps. And we need to be able to find that out and pair you with resources that would offer you the most value. And that's where you would be able to use the little time you have effectively and hopefully remember the information for longer and get through the exam the way you would like to get through the exam. You're going to need to set incremental goals. You're going to need to set incremental goals. You want to know, okay, right now my UWorld is at 40% average. Okay, I need to get it to 50% average. And then I need to get it to 60% average. I need to get it to 65% average. Incremental, measurable, objective goals. Don't say, I feel like I am learning the information. I feel like I know more. Your feelings don't help you in any way or shape or form. What is important is we need an objective, measurable metric to know if you are making progress. If you do a block of UWorld and you score 35, 45, 55, this is measurable. In the next video I'm going to make, probably it's probably going to be up tomorrow or next tomorrow, I'm going to take you through a student's performance on Step 2 CK. Very recent. This student is writing her exam at the end of the week. And you're going to see how measured improvement can be, what it looks like. And this is over a short period of time. So it's over 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So it's going to be a perfect example of what you can expect for some of you in some of your scenarios. But what you're looking for, again, is measured incremental goals that lead you to your exams. These should be based on your self-assessments, based on your UWorld practice or whatever QBank you decide to use. Fourth step is going to be to seek professional help. For a lot of you, you have been trying to prepare by yourself. You've gone on Reddit, you've gone on Facebook, you've gone on, I don't know, Telegram. Where else do students go to? You've gone on all of these places. You've heard advice from a million people. You have had resources from all over the places. Some students have 1 terabyte worth of medical resources, USMLE prep resources. You have all of these things. Fantastic. They are very good. It's good to have resources. It's good to join all these forums. It's good to speak to all these people. But you have been doing this for so long. You have been on this journey. You have been receiving all this advice. You have been hearing all these people tell you all of these things. Perhaps you need someone to sit with you and tell you that for you in particular, this, and this is the problem or are the problems that you are having to deal with or that you need to work. You may need to consider hiring a tutor, getting a coach, someone that you know can hold your hands and take you to the USMLE. Unfortunately, this is, of course, the more expensive route, but perhaps it is much better that you are following a more expensive route and you do your exam in 3 months, 6 months, whatever, than that you spend years and years and years struggling and not getting the exam done anyway. If, for example, you are one of those that struggle with anxiety, stress, you're unable to focus, your mindset is in the wrong place, you can't bring yourself together, maybe you need the help of a counselor. Maybe you need the help of someone that can offer you mental health support. Schools provide counselors. Maybe you need all of this kind of assistance. Feel free to use them. Seek them out early so that you don't have to fail the exam. And if you failed it again, so that you don't have to fail it again. You want to cover all the grounds necessary or required for you to go into your exam. And then, of course, you can join all of these online forums. You can go where students are having conversations. You're going to meet students like yourself. You will hear stories of students like yourself that have gone on to pass the exam. So whether you're joining online communities on Facebook, Reddit, Instagram, Telegram, wherever, fantastic. Go to where students are sharing their stories, and most of the time stories that are similar to yours. Now look for stories that are success stories. Don't enter a bubble where everybody's crying. If you're in an online community and everybody's crying about their failure, about how hard the exam is, they are just going to feed your anxiety. Get out of that community fast. Go where people are sharing their story on how they didn't perform well, they failed, whatever, and they are also sharing their story of how they came back to make it happen. This will feed your hopes. You will know at least that this is possible for you. Finally, for this video, I might have to do a second part to this. Practice, practice, practice. The difference between the students that we call exceptional and the rest of us, perhaps, is that many times these students have practiced more questions. They have spent more hours working on these resources than a lot of us have. So spend majority of your time practicing. Spend majority of your time studying. Spend majority of your time on the thing that feeds the most into your success on the USMLE. Practice, practice, practice. Remember, you are not alone. There are a lot of people on this journey with you. Your struggles are not unique to you. Your failure is not unique to you. It does not define you. A lot of persons have failed and come back, passed, and gone on to march into their choice of specialty. And you can do the same. You just have to put your head down, put your feet on the ground, and walk. Do the work that's necessary. Seek help where you need help. And if you feel stuck and you think I can be of help to you, send a message, send us an email, reach out to us on Instagram. And until next time, I will see you guys very soon. If you're new to the channel, please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.